This video is complex literal equations. And what that can mean is the problems are pretty difficult. So by the title, complex literal equations, you might be able to guess that these are going to be a little more complex than the simple literal equations. Those had like 2, maybe 3 variables. Here we're going to be seeing a lot more, but it's the same idea. You just use the same steps you would always use to isolate the given variable. So for a problem like this, again, before we can get the variable we want alone, we have to get that variable term alone. So before we can even entertain dealing with this scary fraction, we have to take care of the d and the r. So I rewrote this to give myself a little space. But if it's a negative d, how would we zero that out? Just like if we had like negative 10, we would add 10. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to go ahead, add d to both sides. Oops. Add d to both sides. And we would be left with g plus d on the left. A negative d plus d, they disappear. They turn into 0. Now we have to deal with this r. Some of us could have done this both in one step. If not, that's fine. We are going to add the r to both sides. That's a very ugly r. Okay, g plus d plus r equal sign. Now I have negative r plus r, which is 0. That's why we did that. C over x. I'm going to pause the video and just kind of clean this up a little bit because I ran out of space. Okay, so I rewrote where we were. So we're trying to get x alone. How do we get things out of the denominator? By multiplying, right? So before you even worry about isolating x, let's just get it out of the denominator by multiplying both sides by it. So you might be tempted for the next step to distribute the x in. You're not going to want to do that. I mean, if you do, it would get a little sticky actually. So let's just rewrite this. Plus d plus r equals c. So we want to get x alone, right? And it's x times this ugly thing, this term here. So to get x alone, we would have to divide. We're going to divide both sides by this whole thing, this whole grouped thing. Because then it cancels everything out. And we are left with x equals c over g plus d plus r. Okay, this might look a little intimidating, right? We're trying to get the a alone. But really, we could just do everything in one step if we're really feeling good about it. We could say, well, this k must get subtracted. The v must get subtracted. The w must be subtracted from both sides. So we would have to do subtraction from the u also. You would just be left with u minus k minus v minus w equals this thing that's left, a. So that was pretty quick. Not too bad. All right. Pause the screen. See if you can do this one.